All right, we're being recorded now, and call to leaders. And I'm happy to have you here on what I consider to be the eve of the opening of Listen University. We actually finished up our last piece yesterday with our ability to take credit cards. It's a funny thing that the industry has been so abusive in the past to merchant providers that it's hard to get a credit card, because a credit card processor, because they're selling so much garbage and they're overcharging for most of the stuff in network marketing. It's a 10 times markup. So something that you can get for a tenth of the price is what they're selling through network marketing at this huge markup, so they can pay these huge commissions. Well, you know, one of our favorite juices, while we were selling it for $35, went on sale for $5.85 at Smith's in Utah, and it didn't. Get this, I had people calling me saying, we're going to die. You know, we're out of business. They've got our juice now at Smith's for $5.85. Here's the sad part. We never, ever felt it. It never slowed our sales. And it was put online. People just promoted it like crazy to show what network marketing is, and it never cost us a sale. Why is that? Well, because it's not about the product in network marketing, unfortunately. It's about making money off of representing something. And at that point, when you really are selling a product for 6 or 8 times what they could get it for at the store, you really are running a Ponzi scheme. I mean, that's what it is. You're playing a game to raise money for yourself. That's a Ponzi scheme. And because of that, the merchant account providers they've dried up. They don't want to offer network marketing people a credit card option. So we had to show them that, you know, here they are saying you're selling air. You're selling air. You're not providing anything. What you're selling, they can get online for free. So we went through all of that, and we proved to them. Now, this has got to be a sales pitch for you. Not a pitch, but an understanding. And it's going to tie right into what this training's about, mindset. You got to understand, we just proved to one of the toughest critics of our industry that we are hugely different. I mean, it took us months. It took us 3 different carriers before we could get what we needed. But we proved to the merchant industry that we are different than anyone else in network marketing. I mean, what a victory. When you understand that part of it, that companies that are canceling network marketing companies left and right accepted us, because we proved to them we're sending out something that represents education on their bookshelf. They're not going to be buying a lot of books in the future, but they're going to have our book on their bookshelf. That we're providing diverse education that no, they cannot find anywhere on the internet. I defy you to find any of our lessons on the internet, because it's diverse education. It's not education that people talk about and promote, because it's not stuff that sells. And yet, that's what's going to make Listen University great. I mean, it would be hard to sell a talk on nutrition and weight loss. That'd be a hard talk to sell. And yet, there we had a great speaker last week. We've had one before. We got one coming up. Nutrition's an important part of our lives. That would be a hard one to sell. And yet, there we have it. A new approach, a specific approach, a different approach to our health and our wellness. The example I use about learning about what's the difference in Jerusalem and Israel and the Gaza Strip and what's going on there. You're not going to sell that talk. But I guarantee you, if you listen to it, and we've got a professor right now, a double doctorate professor, recording that volume for me, that original dream volume I had. It's being recorded right now, to where a stay-at-home mom or dad is going to listen for 55 minutes to all about that region and what is wrong with it. Why is it the way it is? What are the battles? What's the 200-year war? What is all of this? And they are going to listen to the news differently. They're going to see life differently. They're going to understand life differently. What we're offering is different. I kind of got on a tangent there. I'm sorry, but I'm so excited that we are now ready to move forward. It doesn't mean we didn't process this week. We did. I said we would, and we did. It'll be done by hand, but who cares? It's going to be done right. And we do have a few apps that came in this week, and there will be some recognition on Monday night. So be prepared for that. We're excited about that. All right, so this is a call to leaders, because rather than a leadership call, I just wanted to see who our leaders are. So I'm questioning, why are you even here? You know, what in this invitation made you think you could get on this call? I mean, no offense, but this is a call to leaders. Why are you here? And I hope you're smiling, and I hope your heart is swelling, and I hope you're thinking, pal, you got no idea who you're talking to. Kevin, you have no idea what I am capable of. And that's what I want you to be saying and thinking. I want you to know that you are a leader, and maybe I don't know it, but you know it. Because something brought you here today, and it's important. This isn't a friendship call. This is a company call. It's important to Listen University to attract leaders so that we can be successful. We have to do something to grow. We've kind of been sitting still for a long time. We attracted some investors. That's most of you. We kind of been sitting still, but now we have to grow to stay in business, to be a viable company. We have to grow. We can't grow without leadership. We can't grow without people who want to make some money. We can't grow with people who don't have our vision. Why are you here? I want to ask you a question. What does this word mindset mean to you? Mindset. You know, it's kind of been messed up in the past 50 or 100 years because a lot of people think that mindset just means opinion. You know, what mindset are you of? Well, you know, I believe in free love and peace and dope. You know, that was the mindset in the 60s. But that's not what it means. Mindset isn't what's your opinion. Mindset isn't what you're leaning or your inkling. Mindset is like quickset. If I had, and I see a couple of you on here that would understand contracting nomenclature. Quickset, that's concrete that sets up in minutes after you add water. Quickset. But set is the key here. Set is immovable. Set means done. There's nothing left. If we add mind to it, there's nothing left to decide. Set means done, fixed. Process is over. There's nothing left to discuss. Mindset. This is an incredible word to me. I've done a lot of trainings and talks on it because it's so misused. And yet, if you understand the power of this word, it can change you as a leader. And that's what we need as leaders, with the right mindset, not the right opinion, not the right inkling or gravitation. No, the right mindset, set in stone. Because without mindset, if you don't have this mindset, we make poor choices all the time. We're constantly making poor choices if we don't have our mind set. And what causes these poor choices? Well, it's when you come across a problem and you have to make a quick determination that usually results in poor choices. And sometimes we get lucky and the arrow strikes the center. But for the most part, if we have to make quick decisions on the fly, on the run, off the cuff, on our feet, we make poor choices. If we don't have enough preparation time, we make poor choices. If we don't have time to consider all options, we make poor choices. Pressure causes poor choices. And what causes pressure? This short time frame. That's the #1 cause of pressure in any scenario on earth, is you shorten the time frame and the pressure gets stronger. It's just like shortening the distance. You got a pipe full of air, you start shrinking that pipe, you start pushing those pipes together, and you're creating pressure. That's the same thing with time. Mindset can eliminate those things. And what do poor choices bring? You know, if we're making poor choices and we see why we're making them, what does that bring? Man, that's what brings on the stress. That's what brings on the hardships and the pains and the struggles. That's what creates an argument, is when we think too fast. We don't take time to make the right decision, and we say something stupid. We say something stupid because we didn't think it through, because we were put under pressure. Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot. I made a bad choice. We do that every day. You know, I'd like to reverse these. Let's just flip these. So let's start back. What do poor choices bring? They bring hardship, stress, struggles, arguments. They bring the problems in our life. That's poor choices. So we need to get rid of poor choices. How do we do that? What causes it? Well, anytime we're making decisions under pressure, with no preparation time, quick decisions, we haven't had a time to really think it out. And we don't have our mindset. So listen to this. It requires a decision. A decision has to be made because we don't have a mindset. If we have a mindset, our outcomes are mostly predetermined. We don't have to make quick decisions. And with predetermined outcomes, we have control, we have peace and calmness, we have an expected result. All of this because of mindset. And I'm going to tell you something, I'll get to it, but mindset isn't that difficult. Mindset's just not that hard. We just don't do it. But with mindset and predetermined outcomes and control and calm and expected results, we're capable of plan building and goal management and growth. We're capable of everything that brings success in life, order, time, money, because of mindset. So without mindset, let's go right here, poor choices, hardship, stress, struggles, arguments. With mindset, predetermined outcomes, control, calm, expected results, plan building and goal management, growth, order, time, money. This is where it has to happen. It has to start with mindset. So the smartest businessman, Robin would tell you, I'm a huge fan of J. Paul Getty. I don't even know why, but he was a steel tycoon in Los Angeles County, where Robin's from. He has a museum there. He's not from LA, but this guy was me. I mean, if I wanted to clone myself, this guy was a good guy, but a tough guy. Made good decisions, tough decisions, and he was kind of a loner, but on the other hand, when you were around him, he was fun. I mean, I see myself that way. He's the first person I've read about, and I read this 20 years ago, that mentioned mindset and caused me to think about it. And he said, I have more time in every day. When he was asked, why are you successful? What do you do that others don't do? And he basically said, I predetermine my future. I have more time in every day than any of my competitors, more time to review projects and strategize for the future. I got more time. Why? My time comes from having already made my mind up as to my values and what is truly important to me. Because of this mindset, I waste very little time in life. His outcome is predetermined because of his mindset. And in reading his first book, where I found this, I'm convinced 90% yeah, I don't know. He didn't give a percentage, but 90% of this man's life was already determined. As he'd go through a day, there were very few choices to make. Very few choices, because the choice had already been made. If you know who you are and what you believe and what you'll do in any given case, that's mindset. The decision had already been made. He didn't waste any time on, am I going to have a donut and Diet Coke for breakfast? He already had a mindset about that. So do I. I'm going to have a donut and a Diet Coke for breakfast. I have a mindset. That wasn't his. But he wasted very little time in life. You can largely eliminate your need for any future decisions by having mindset. Now, you need to just start today by making a list. You'll surprise yourself. If you make this list, you'll surprise yourself at the mindset that you do have. But I think you've probably got mind place or mind fix, but it's time to mindset. I've got mind placement. Yeah, I got that. And that would be an almost set. But let's add the water, man. Let's make that thing quick set. Let's set that mind so that decisions don't need to be made in the future about the things we're going to do. There are absolutes in life. Some of them, oh, there's no absolutes in life. That's not true. There are absolutes in life. There are no compromise scenarios. There are things that identify you as who you are that will never change or should never change. I mean, I'm going to prove this to you. What do you believe about church? Are you a Christian? You believe in Jesus Christ? Are you a Buddhist? Are you an Islam? Are you a Hindu? Are you Jewish? What are you? Whatever that is, it's absolute. There's no going back on that. This is what I believe. I believe in this living, breathing. This is my belief. And because of that, I don't have to make that decision ever again. This I can put to the side, and I don't have to know when somebody brings up a conversation about whether Jesus Christ lives or not. I don't have to make a decision. I already know what I believe, and it is set in stone. Is yours? How about marriage? I believe that if we would set our belief about marriage in stone, there would be fewer problems. If you are not set in stone, you got potential problems ahead. If you're a man and a beautiful woman walks by that knows how to play the game, and men know how to play the game too. I'm not picking on anybody. It's just easier to believe a man would cheat. A pretty woman walks by and she knows how to play men, and she plays you. And she's out of your league, and yet there she is, available to you. Is that an option? It needs to not be. You see, as you make this list, there are things you can set in stone that you will never do, that you will always do, that you will never consider, that you will always support and be and see and do. School. There's been so much vacillation on school in the past 5 years, 10 years. Some people even claiming you don't need an education. The people with educations are using their degrees for toilet paper. I mean, that's so much baloney. I love my education. It's one of my proudest accomplishments. And I use the learning I received every day. Every day. Last night, because Robin's out of town and I was up late on the computer, I'm looking at a doctoral program at the University of San Diego on leadership. And I'm very excited about it. I submitted. I could do it by going over there one day a week. I mean, I submitted. Why? Because I believe in education. It's a mindset. I have a mindset for education. I'm teaching right now. I'm teaching a college class on entrepreneurship. and marketing. I'm an online professor for Brigham Young University. I'm teaching right now, and I will go do a doctoral program somewhere. Why? Because my mind is set that education is valuable and important, and anything I can possibly do to gain more knowledge on this earth, I will do. My mind is set. So those first three, my mind is set. How about you? How about kids? I think you could set your mind on whether you're going to have kids or not. What are you going to do with your kids? What's your goal with your kids? How are you going to treat your kids? What are you going to do for your kids? There's some mindset available there. Business can even, you're getting to things that are tougher, but there's things you can set your mind on in business and your company and your integrity, and integrity being the key of this one. Who will you be in business? Who will you be in your own little company, your Listen University company, or another company that you work for or own? Who are you? If you set your mind now, you won't have very many decisions to make in the future. I know guys who've gotten in trouble with their companies because they borrowed money at a different percentage payback than they ever swore they would when they started their business. And now they're upside down. 2009 caused a lot of people to do things that they didn't think they'd ever do. Why? Because their mind wasn't set. Their mind was fixed, but apparently it wasn't set. Because here comes the first challenge, and they fell off of their belief. They had belief, but they didn't have mindset. I know some that have done some unscrupulous things as the construction market has come back. They've done things they never did before. Why? Because they went through these challenges, and now, by dang, they're going to get the money as it goes along and not be good to their fellow man. You see, we can have mindset. And if you do, remember, go back. If you set your mind, you eliminate the need for future discussion and consideration. I have no need to discuss school, church, or marriage with anybody. I mean, I can discuss it, give you my opinion, help you, counsel you, mentor you if you want, but I have no need to listen to anyone else's opinion about it. My mind is set. And people, well, you can't have a set mind. Well, I do have a set mind on certain things, and I don't have a problem with having a set mind. You need to decide today. What are we talking about? We're talking about Listen University. If you don't know that, you're not, I'm glad it's cutting deeper if that's what's happening. But we're talking about Listen University. It's a life training, but it's about Listen University. I'm calling for leaders. Make final decisions in advance, set them in your mind. Get rid of the stress and bring some peace. Remove the need to ever consider an alternative to your decisions again. Decide. I did a big study on people who made it big in the entertainment industry. The reason why is that I always thought I should be on stage. I always thought I should be Buble. That's who I thought I should be, is Buble. Because that's kind of my style of singing, and I was pretty good at one point. I was as good as him, a lot of people said. I never said that. But, you know, Mom said that, and Robin said that, so I guess it's true. So why are they on stage and I'm not? Well, partly because of my mindset about church and family and things that I wouldn't do and would do, I'm sure. But what I found is that their mindset was that they would be that person. They would be on stage at all costs. That was a mindset. If you study the life of some of the people who've made it big, you'll see how many marriages they thrashed to get where they ended up. You'll see how many children disowned them on their way up. You'll see that they have no church or God in their life. So my first three mindset items, in some ways, I'm not blaming anybody but myself, and I'm not even blaming myself. It wasn't a choice I made. But for some people, my first three mindset items would have disqualified them from becoming a famous, great on-stage performer. You follow that? So if we reverse that, if there's something you really want today as you're listening to this, if there's something you believe is necessary in your life, if there's something you believe you were destined for, you got to set your mind on it and decide. You know, when Brandy was working with us in the second company she was in with us, the first company, not so much. She was a good listener and learner in the first company. But that second company, she set her mind to be somebody, a particular somebody, and to have a particular outcome. And there was no deviating. Because of that, she was the top money earner in that company, I think, every week for the entire existence of that company. I don't think anyone ever beat her on income in that company because she had a mindset that that's who she was going to be. Now, at the time, she didn't have church. She didn't have much of family, and she wasn't in school. So, I mean, my top three, she wasn't really involved in conflict there. And that's no excuse, because now she is, and she's still that person. Why? Because her mind is set on how she'll do business and how she'll work and how she'll commit and what her outcome will be. So we go to this dream, learn, do. This has been a good formula for me. And it starts with dreaming and imagining, pondering, really sitting down and dreaming about your future. Dreaming about it. Imagining what could happen, pondering what that might take. Open up to the possibilities. The dream phase, of course, is my favorite phase. I spend about 99% of my time in the dream phase. I'm kidding, but I do love to dream. I can't tell you how many baseball games for the Diamondbacks I've saved as I've come in to pitch. I can't tell you how many golf tournaments I've won as an unknown, sponsored by Nike, because a friend of mine works there. I'm telling you, my dreams are in Technicolor. I mean, they are detailed. I can tell you what I'm wearing when I walk out to the mound. I can tell you if my pants are at the knees or at the ankles. I can tell you what color shoes and gloves I have. I can tell you every piece of my dreams. I dream big. I can even tell you about church conferences that I've saved when terrorists came in. I got dreams you can't believe. I mean, I'm Superman. And every one of them are in fine detail. Dream, imagine. What could your dream be in Listen University? What could that look like? What could you accomplish? Ponder it. What would it take? Open up to possibility. Dream is my favorite. Next is learn. Now I got to figure out what, if I'm gonna shock those terrorists by yelling at them in their own language, I'm gonna have to learn their language. Farsi, I'm going to have to learn it if that's who I think the terrorists are. If I'm going to be the best in this company, I need to know the comp plan back and forth. I need to be able to recite it in my sleep. I need to have a strategy. If there's already a building plan laid out on how to do this, called the Star Builder duplication model, I need to put that in my strategy and understand it. And I need to plan for this. I need to know exactly when, where, and how I'm going to accomplish my dream. And then what do? Once you've dreamt about it, you've learned it, you've strategized, you get it, you have a plan, then you set it in stone. This is how I'm going about it. This is my mindset. This is what I'm going to do. I've gone through the process. I'm doing it. All that's left is to do it. You act on your plan. It's not heavy because you already decided what it is. You've already broken it down to bite-sized pieces. It's not hard. It's fulfill. It's like those, I don't know if you've ever done a paint by number or a paint by region, but you actually, if you took a picture, a mural, let's say on a wall, and you put it into cubes, let's say 16 squares, and then you took a paper in front of you and made it 16 squares, you could transfer that mural by hand to your paper. by coloring, drawing, artistically putting in what's in each of those 16 squares, you could put that in fine detail just by focusing on the small square. This is a practice that's been taught and proven over and over. The smaller the square, the more detailed you can get. And by the time you're done, you are a professional artist. You've just transferred that beautiful mural onto a 8.5 by 11 paper by 16 squares that you've filled in. When you break it down, all that's left is to act, to perform, to fulfill these 16 squares. And each one moves you closer towards your goal. That's the key. I sometimes refer to it as deciding. You know, everything else has been talked about. Everything else has been explained. And then we decide, boom, mindset. We're going to build millionaires, folks. For this company to survive, for this company to thrive, for this company to become amazing, we're going to have to build a lot of millionaires. There's a good chance some of them will come from this group on this small phone call this morning. These people decide in advance what they're willing to do, what they won't do, and whether or not quitting or even slowing down is an option. I never have to ask these people with mindset, I never have to ask them, will you be here Thursday night? I never have to ask them, will you be on the webinar call? I never have to ask them, are you putting in people this week? Are you having a home meeting? Are you doing a mentor meeting? I never have to ask because their mind is set. And I trust the set of their mind so much that I could nearly tell you where they are any given day, any given time. I can tell you where they are pretty close. I can definitely tell you what they're not doing. And most often I can tell you what they're doing. Mindset. Boom, just like that. It's a sure sign of a leader. And I hope this has helped you in some way because we're ready to roll. We're going to need leaders to do it. And I'm going to start with the group of leaders we have now in our batch of investors and our what we call early adopters. I'm going to start with this group, and hopefully I never have to leave this group. You see, I'm going to build with 2 or 3 or 4 people personally, and I'm going to teach you to do the same. And I'm going to focus on those 2 or 3 people that have mindset and that really get it and that really want it, and they're going to be the object of my entire focus, my efforts. And if I can't find those people in this group, I will go find them. But I want them to come from this group because I love all of you. I want you all to be successful. I want you all to be happy at a happier and a higher level. And I want you all to be a part of this forever. Let me know if your mind is set. Have a great week. And like I said, Derek, thanks for being on the webinar today. Derek Bowles, outstanding speaker and mentor and inspirer and motivator, and you're going to love him. Fill up your cars, rent a bus. Let's fill up the little theater there at campus and welcome Derek in style. All right, thanks for being here. See you all at the campus.